How's it going, friends and family of the internet? Welcome to the Real AF TV podcast, the show about fishing and random takes from the land of 10,000 lakes. I'm one of your hosts, Josh LaBaw.
And I am Tim Wagner.
And you talked right up to the 10-second mark. There was a pause, and then I jumped in. That was great timing, dude.
Ooh, beautiful, beautiful.
I loved it. This is going to probably be a little bit of a different episode. We are going to basically just talk about our weekend.
Yeah.
Overfishing opener. It was different. That's not usually how we start the podcast. We usually kick it off with some fishing news, but I just had to throw that out there for anybody who's listening regularly. It's like, I don't know what the time frame is on this one. You do, because you download the fucking podcast and it shows up.
Yep.
But as we're point. This is almost a complete freestyle of an episode, and it's not going to be bad. The freestyle doesn't mean bad. You're going to probably feel a different flow to this one, is what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Not a lot of notes. We're just going to be talking about Minnesota Fishing Opener weekend and video.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect.
Okay. Fishing news. Remember that drought we had last summer?
Yes.
That thing was a bitch.
That was a bitch.
So the water around me is doing fairly well.
Yeah.
Yeah. The rivers are flooding, of course, but that happens like every fucking year since 98.
Every spring. Because we live in a state, if anybody's not where it snows, if you're not familiar,
right?
It snows and it snows and it snows, and that's just water sitting there waiting to melt. And then when spring comes around, it all melts and it all runs down the river.
Yeah.
And you should watch a YouTube video of it happening, because it all gets moving, and sometimes it comes in so hot. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a freaking landslide.
Right.
You have like a small river, and then a big river just comes in. You ever seen The Good Dinosaur?
Oh, yeah, dude. That landslide?
Freaking Arlo, the landslide comes down and lands in the river, and then that just pushes the river down.
Right.
Arlo.
Yeah. The Lion King maneuver. The Lion King move. The canyon. It's a canyon full of something that's rushing through it, and
it's the exact same thing.
In it.
Yeah.
It's exactly the
brainstorm.
Same thing
they just brainstorm. They're just like, what should we do? Well, just they're dinosaurs. Oh, should we have it be like other dinosaurs stampeding? But no, we did that in Lion King. But what if the water buffalo was just water? Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. How do we make that happen? Landslide? Duh. Okay. Sure. Landslide makes water.
Have you ever seen the mountains?
Yeah. And then what happens? Does the water buffalo takes Simba's dad? Does the water take Arlo's dad? Yeah. We're Disney. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what happens in our movies.
That's what happens in our movies.
Everybody knows it's coming. No spoiler. No spoiler.
Yeah, no, there's no spoilers there.
You know what's happening.
Everybody knows what's going to happen. It's a Disney movie.
But we do it again later. But it'll be like Arlo, he's like on his own journey, and then he like finds a human friend, and then it'll be like the same thing, but then like they're like, hey, but they probably don't die. Maybe I don't know that one. You gotta watch the movie to figure out.
So okay, the news is that Southwest. I got it from Southwest Media down here, the one in the area around where I live, the local news company from where I live in. How it has to do with the drought is the real headline of this is that the Prior Lake Boat Association, and we've talked about the Prior Lake before. They do a lot of that carp shit on here, and so we've talked about Upper Prior Lake and Spring Lake and stuff. So it's those lakes. This was published on April 28th, which, I know as you're listening to this, you're like, that's almost a month ago, but it has everything to do with the drought. It is very relevant. We have gotten amounts of rain, but all of the water that is making us feel okay about this summer came from the winter. Wouldn't that be accurate to say, Tim?
Yeah, I think so.
That we haven't got
'Cause
enough
we
rain so far this spring to be like, we're fine.
Yeah, no, we had rain this last weekend, which we'll talk about,
Right, which we're gonna. Yep.
and then we had rain today. And
Yeah, we've
besides
had
that,
a little rain this week. We've
yeah,
actually had a couple little
I
ones,
don't
but
know if it
nothing.
rained between those two. I think it was like just
I'm not
snow.
sure either.
I think it was snow
But
before
yeah,
that.
just the melt and how much snow we had.
Yeah.
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 So this Prior Lake Boat Association is just still out there going, like, telling boaters, you still got to watch out for hazards. Like, we're
Oh
not
yeah.
feeling super great about the summer. You still need to watch for hazards. Yes, the lake is doing a lot better, but it's so they got a watershed on it at 902.5 feet. The watershed will kick in, and they're just like, yeah, it's not hitting the watershed. So, like, it's not full.
Right.
Like, we're not
Yeah.
about to hit the point where this lake is over full. It's not even close.
Right. No. Damn.
So
Yeah. But
so yeah,
definitely be careful. Because
right.
the one
And
time
oh no, go
oh
ahead. Go
sorry,
ahead.
you
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say the one time my dad was like adventurous enough to take his boat onto a different lake. The water was low and we did hit a rock.
Oh my
And
God.
it didn't like it wasn't like Titanic. Like we didn't sink or nothing, but it was like, damn, dude, that sucks.
Right.
And then that was the like last time we ever took the boat onto a different
Onto
lake.
a different lake.
Yeah.
That was just the end of it. Of course, that's what had to happen. And that's why I said, damn,
Yeah.
dude, the way I
Yep.
did, because I knew that would just shut it down.
Shut it down. Never go to we don't know other lakes. We'll stay on this lake that we know. And it's like, no, that's
Now,
not as fun.
right. So I didn't even know they built these watersheds into lakes. So I was pretty surprised to see that and hear that. That's why I wanted to bring that up. But also, this is a testament to how much snow there was. Like, we're feeling good right now. The lake's doing okay. Like, and I'm using this as a metaphor. Like, that's why I brought this article. You know, you can go over to the YouTube video. I'll have the link in the description, and you can read it if you want a little more details. But this is a news article to kick off just the general discussion of how bad the drought was, and the fact that, like, things are doing okay, but because we had so much snow, we had such a long winter, it was so uh much precipitation in the grand scheme
Right.
of the season. But it was so bad in the fall, like during peak time of getting boats off, they had to apply for nearly 10 grand in emergency funds to prepare the boat landings for how low
Damn.
the water was.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what the fuck?
Right.
You must have to like go in and like put more, because I think almost all boat landings are like concrete slabs.
Yeah.
So there's like and they're staggered a little bit, so you
Yeah.
can like grip. I think some might be just like straight up, but you got to be able to grip and not sink.
Right.
It's dirt that's like always in the water. If you just took your truck and tried to like back in a random spot where there's not that concrete, you're just gonna sink in and get stuck. So I'm guessing that the like water's low enough that they're like, if anybody thinks that there's concrete past us, they're gonna go past the concrete and then they're gonna be fucked.
Right.
We need to get the concrete in here now.
Right. Yeah,
That's
I have to
crazy.
assume it was something like that. It didn't really say. It said they had some sandy landings, is what I remember reading. And I'm just like,
Okay.
yeah, they're like all sandy, right? I mean, there's
Yeah.
mud ones too, and like I get but it's everything
Yeah,
you
I
just
mean,
said, Tim, in less words than what I'm trying to.
yeah. Yeah. Or maybe there's just even like, if it is, I suppose it could just be sand. I don't know for sure what else there is. That's all I ever remember seeing is just
Yeah,
the concrete everywhere,
right.
So I don't know what they would
And it
have to
might
do,
just
but
I guess
I'm
that could be
sure,
the kind of lake too.
yeah,
Like the
you
the
got to
bottom of the
haul,
lake.
regardless of what you got to do, you got to haul stuff there, you got to get equipment there, and you got
Right.
to pay somebody to do it,
Right.
So you're
Uh-huh.
dealing with like professionals, and that's
Right.
never cheap.
Yeah,
So,
especially with such a specialized thing, right?
oh yeah,
Like, you have to deal with
yeah,
lake water and a lake bottom that is obviously normally saturated, so it can't be
right.
just normal dirt at this point. Yeah. It has to
Yeah.
be pretty crazy. And just
Yep.
go over to YouTube and leave a comment too, by the way, if you're not used to concrete, because I want to hear like what can you back a truck
Yeah.
into then with a boat on it and
Right.
get out
That's a
if
good
it's not
point.
concrete.
Yes.
I want to know.
Yeah, I want to know too. That's a good point. Like, what if you got a different landing material? You know, they got like pea rock or something where they're just like, oh yeah,
Right.
this is what we do. Or everybody knows that, like, yeah, you don't back your truck into the water here, you know, because it's
Yeah,
maybe
right.
maybe it's just like a steeper drop off where you can handle it as long as your boat or your truck doesn't go into the water, you know. Just get it so your wheels from your trailer are in the water and your boat will do the rest. You
Right.
cannot put the back
Maybe.
tires into the water or you're done.
Or you're done.
And I've never heard anything like that. But yeah,
Yeah,
now
me
that I'm
neither.
even thinking about it, like when we're talking about professionals, like you think that just have to be like some regular like excavating crew that has that sort of expertise,
Right.
and they're probably doing other jobs because like now is like peak construction time, so they're probably
Right. And
just
they're
being
probably
like
trying to hustle
yeah,
ass before the fall comes
yeah,
or before
half of
winter
this
comes
money
in the fall.
right, yeah, yeah, exactly. And they're like, to get them over here, half of this money is actually a bribe to get them to get them over here quick. We need it
We call
quick.
those rush fees.
This is the rush fee. Wink.
Oh, wink wink. Cash.
Oh man.
Straight cash, homie.
Yeah.
That's
Straight
what that wink
cash.
says. So yeah,
Nice.
that's it. That was the news. I just wanted to bring that up because it plays right into which you already started to do. It plays right into the weather basically
yes.
of what we're going to get into here with fishing opener and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
before we do that, gotta do what we always do, and that's get in a little housekeeping. Thanks to everybody going over to YouTube. The YouTube is staying strong, staying steady. If you could share with a friend, that would be great. Get us a little bit more. Remember, we actually have a URL, and simple, tiny little URL. It's not a tiny URL. I shouldn't have said that, but that's a thing that just, anyways. Here it is. YouTube.com/@RealAFTV. Remember, they updated stuff like that. So now that we're on shorts, you know, we're at RealAFTV. Remember, real like fish and real on the shorts part of YouTube. And then that also makes our URL short by just youtube.com/@RealAFTV. Let's see. Remember, bi-weekly podcast. If you do share with a friend, tell them that every other Monday we come out with a big full episode. And then in our off week, only over on YouTube, you can get the video version of the podcast split up where you don't get the fishing news and all that stuff. So tell them to watch the main one. But if you only want to stick around for, you know, the fishing topics, that's the place to go and get it. The contact page is back up over on realaf.tv on our website. So hit us up with a topic over there, some feedback, whatever it is. Go to realaf.tv/contact and just email us. It's that simple. Oh, and one more thing. I forgot to send you this, Tim. I forgot to text you this this image, but in my graphic,
Image,
you know,
but
I got a graphic design friend,
yep.
associate,
Yep.
person that I have done business with, I guess.
Yep.
So he's got a website. It's image-quest.com. You won't find this particular poster I'm about to talk about on there, but it's a really cool poster that he got in with Minnesota Bound on.
Ooh.
It is it was, I should say, it's a limited edition run of this poster that he made for the Minnesota Bound crappie tournament here this year. That's
Okay.
on Lake Minnetonka. It's in early May. So yeah, he was able to donate those to the Minnesota Bound, this big Minnesota Bound crappie tournament over there, because he does a lot of Lake Minnetonka stuff, does a lot of like lake art and stuff like that. And so I thought that was really cool. He shared that with me. You go to the Minnesota Bound Facebook page and you'll be able to see his name down there, Rich Sladik. Thanks for donating these posters, and hit up image-quest.com and you can get posters just like it. But that was a limited run thing he did just for, as I understand it, was a limited run thing that he did for the crappie tournament, and it's really cool. So I just wanted to give a shout out to that.
Heck yeah.
And that's it. I'm going to just end housekeeping there. And we are going to get into the fishing topic.
Shit scares me.
Still not used to it.
What's that?
I forgot to do the news reel sound. We got new production tools, and I forgot to do it. Hey. So, that'll happen. But Tim,
yep,
we're going to talk about our fishing weekend. We're going to talk about fishing the opener weekend here in Minnesota. And I just am so excited that this is episode 69.
69
of the Real AF TV podcast, where we're going to just keep it loose and steady, moving about our weekend of fishing opener, because you went fishing for reals as much as you could, and you got stuff to talk about, and I was playing Zelda.
Right.
I was fishing in Zelda. If you go check out the Twitter account, I have a picture of me bow fishing in Zelda.
Yeah.
And then you guys actually catch
I think your weekend went better than my weekend did.
So. Yeah, I think it did too. Let's see if we can split this up. This may merge into one, but let's talk about the fishing weekend, because you had different weather up there than we did down here.
Oh, really?
It wasn't super different. It wasn't super different, but you were actually quite a bit colder. Like, we almost got into 70s. You guys were not.
Oh, damn.
Right.
Yeah, it was chilly, man. We were like, I went up there and I had pants and a t-shirt on. And when I got onto the dock, I was like, well, it's time for a sweatshirt. Like, I had turned around and went and grabbed my sweatshirt immediately.
Just right away.
Oh, right away.
And also this is part 3 of a 3-part episode. We've been building up to this because of the winter being so shitty. We were really looking forward to opener.
Right.
I didn't realize until after. Okay, so it was episode 66 and episode 68 that we talked about, like, leading up to opener. So if you want to go back and listen to those, do that. This is like our end to our 3-part series of getting to fishing opener.
Yeah,
So yeah, you went right back out and you got your hoodie just like immediately.
Mm-hmm. Because it was windy as hell too up there.
Oh,
yeah, that played a role.
And at those temperatures on the water,
and the water temperature was 49 degrees.
That is crazy, dude.
So it was blowing cold air across that water.
That is so cold.
Yeah.
When you texted me that, I was just like, what in the hell, dude? Like, I told my wife right away. I was like, that's the coldest water that I've ever known the temperature of without it being ice.
Right. I was expecting, I've seen colder, but that's like, because some years it's been hot enough to like where the ice has been out like late March, and it just got hot enough to like melt fast, and then it like got cold right away. So the sun wasn't there to warm up the water faster.
Okay.
I've been out there on like mid 40s.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes it's like, damn, that sucks. But I was expecting like low 50s.
Yeah, by now
high 40s.
Right.
Well, so I just thought because the whole like the sun and the water temp stuff, and with how there was wind and the longer hours of sun and everything, I just was expecting it to heat up really fast. Like how fast it went from like there's a lot of snow and ice still to all of a sudden like the lake's open. I was like, damn, dude, if it was able to melt ice that fast, it's got to be able to warm up that water pretty quick.
Right. Okay.
And then it like didn't seem to be as fast as I was expecting. But I guess lesson learned for next time. But it didn't really matter too much, because the fish were still moving up and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
So
but
did this
you were
qualify
gonna
for
say
your
something
fish?
else.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was gonna say you were gonna say something else. Because I just started talking about water temp. I don't know if you remember or
Oh, no,
whatever.
no, no. That's actually kind of where I wanted to go with it, because like we were like down here, it was cold, because I remember texting you and being like, "Good luck, man.
Yeah.
I know it's a little rough out there," but like I was still in shorts.
Oh yeah.
I only had a hoodie on because of the rain itself was so cold
Yeah.
that it was chilling me if I didn't have something stopping the water
Sure.
from landing on me. And then
Okay.
we broke the rain, I don't know, later in the day Saturday,
Okay.
and we saw some on Sunday, and like it was just, yeah, we didn't have the same weather, but it was
Sure.
fairly chilly start. So I
Dude.
knew that you guys were dealing with something different, and that's only the only place I was going. And then you told me about the water, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god!" To hear the wind and the water, and we had wind, but it wasn't anything that I just like would have. It wasn't anything that affected me. I only had my hoodie on because,
Sure.
again, to get away from the cold water. So was the rain fucking freezing
Yeah.
up there too?
Dude, the rain was cold. We didn't go out when it was raining. Like it was Saturday, we didn't make it up till later, but it was like
Hmm.
raining and shitty and everything. And like, so that's why it was like, all right, well, I'm not in much of a hurry to even get up there,
Sure.
because it's like just so cold and shitty.
Right.
And like cold and rain isn't a big deal to me. Like I'll still
Hmm.
go fishing and stuff.
Yeah.
But at the cabin, there's like nothing else to do. So it's a real dick move to be like, let's all go up there and then
Yeah.
you guys sit in the cabin and I'll go fish. You
Right.
guys find something to do. I think there's
Yeah.
Scrabble in the cupboard or whatever. And my son can't read. So just have fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You have a
yeah, so we,
freshly 5-year-old kid, like, you're
exactly. Yep. Um, so yeah, we got up there a little bit later. And then once we got up there, I had some problem solving to do with my dad's depth finder on his boat because it
Oh,
just wasn't turning on right. And he's like, I think it might be the battery or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. Like the battery doesn't need to have a lot of juice to turn on the depth finder. It's
mhm, mhm.
it's not that big of a draw. So
Right.
it was
It
just
just
figuring everything out. I was like trying new fuse. I brought up my battery because I know that that's like mint. My battery like
Oh,
fully charges. There's no issue. I knew
yep.
we would have no problem. So I'm like, not the battery because it's not working with that. And then
Okay.
it was like the fuse holder itself.
Oh,
Something in there was like
like
not
the
working.
whole
So I
fuse box?
yeah, well like
Like, all the fuses?
the fuse holder for like a depth finder and stuff is like it's almost like inline. Well, the first
Oh,
one he had was an inline, but it literally is on the cord itself, the
it's
hot
built
cord.
it's built in. Okay,
Yep,
okay.
yep, built in. So now it's like a little miniature version of uh car fuse. And I don't
Oh,
know if I've ever said miniature with like pronouncing the A like that.
miniature like you did?
A little miniature. It just came out and I was like, that sounded like
It's just like
what
the
am I
GIF and the
fucking
GIF thing
British?
that we were just talking about, like, before. It's British. Is that what you just said?
Yeah, and got a miniature aluminum can. Anyways, yeah, so I got all that handled and then we got the boat ready and then like we ate supper and then we're like, all right, we'll go out and see what we can catch after supper. So we didn't try for walleye or nothing. We're like, we're going back to where the crappies are because that's, we're not trying to dick around. The weather's not great. The wind is there. And we know that there's the way the wind was blowing, like the
Mhm,
calmest spot on the lake is going to be the one spot that we know has crappies.
mhm.
So we'll go back there. We're
Nice.
bobber fishing with crappie minnows and stuff.
And you knew right where it was, right? Like, you just,
Oh,
like, had this
I'm
spot. You're like, "We're going to
this
that spot."
this lake when it comes to crappie spawning, I know like 7 different spots and it's
Mhm.
literally like whichever one the wind's not hitting because we
Ah,
want to be able to see the bobber moving and everything and like because
yep.
this time of year um the the crappie are almost just kind of like swimming around
Okay.
and the water's not that deep and they don't necessarily always like grab it and swim down. Sometimes they just grab it and swim sideways. So
Oh,
sometimes your bobber all of a
I
sudden
never
just
thought
like
about that.
starts.
I've seen
Yeah,
that.
sometimes the bobber just starts moving. Like you just watch it sit there, and all of a sudden it'll just start like trying to drifting one way, and you're like,
Right.
that's going against the wind. And then you
Right.
just set the hook, and you're like, oh, I was right.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yes, I've
Yeah.
been in that situation. I think with you up on that lake is where like I have the most. I can't say that that's the memory, but I know exactly what you're talking about right away. And I'm
Yeah.
always like, well, it's not going down. What am I supposed to do?
Right. Yeah.
Just
But
go
every
for it.
once yeah,
That's the
dude, go
answer.
for it. I'm pretty sure that we'll all do that too. Gets a little bit annoying, I'm sure, for some people, but we're all just being like, you got something? Dude, it looks like it's moving weird. Is it moving weird? And like, because we're all
Yeah.
telling it, you have the
Right.
green bobber, right? That's you? I think you got one. Try it. Lift it up.
Hell yeah.
But
That's totally.
yeah. So we go back there, and we have crappie minnows and stuff. And we're sitting there for a while, dude, and this is weird. We're sitting there and we're not catching anything for a while. And then my wife, all of a sudden, like, bobber goes under, she sets the hook and starts reeling, and like the drag is running. And I'm like,
What?
damn, you got a good one? And she's like, it's a pretty good one. And then she gets it in, and it ends up being like a 3-pound northern, which
Oh
is
yeah.
like
Okay.
not much for a northern, but like
Right.
northerns, if you're not familiar, or if you are familiar, you know that the northerns go on runs. It's weird. It's not like a consistent pull. It's like you'll fight them a little bit, and then all of
Oh
a sudden it just goes zzz, they
yeah.
take off. They try to swim fast,
Yep.
and then you pull them in again, and then they'll keep doing runs. It's almost the opposite of like a sunfish. A sunfish is just like a tank, like, oh, I'm going,
Right.
I
Just like
won't stop,
100%.
never
Go,
stop.
go,
And
go.
yeah. But so she gets it up, and we're like, northern, damn, that's crazy. Like, we don't catch a lot of northerns, with the tiny crappie minnow, but it happens. Just doesn't
Yeah.
happen that much, and definitely
Right.
not back in this area. Like,
Yeah.
it's not known to hold a lot of little pike back here. So whatever. So we catch that, and then nothing for a while. We're like, okay, whatever, that
Okay.
makes sense. There's just one northern that was swimming through. Fine. We'll see if we catch something else. All of a sudden, bam, my wife's bobber goes. Bam, my nephew bobber goes. Bam, my bobber goes.
What?
We have a three-peat crappie. We all catch a crappie at the same time. And actually,
What?
I think mine went first because I reeled it in. And I'm like, hey, that's a crappie. And mine was kind of little. And then both of those guys caught crappies that were worth keeping. I tossed mine back because I was like, that one's too small. We're not keeping that.
Sure. Sure.
And then they caught there, and I'm but like, those two are worth keeping. And then we
Nice.
put all like new minnows on, and we cast them back out, and we don't get anything for a while.
What?
And I think
So it's just like
so
bam,
the
bam,
water,
bam. You got 3
yeah.
hits and then they go on pause. What the
And
fuck?
so the water is like warming up, and I think they're starting to move in to the spawning areas. They're not spawning yet.
Okay.
And
So you
whatever
think this is
happened,
the water's warming from like the evening or the morning cold rain shit, and now you're getting into evening and it's a little bit warmer and
yeah, like it wasn't raining anymore. So I think it wasn't like dropping down cold rain. I think it was just kind of like the water's warming up a little bit. And I don't know exactly what it is, but it was like something triggered them. It was like at that very moment, I think they were all close. And whatever happened at that time just told them, like,
almost like a feeding frenzy sort of
yeah, it was
situation,
like
maybe.
almost like we eat. Now we eat. And it's just, I don't even know if like maybe it was a certain noise or something that triggered them. But it was
Sure.
so weird that all three, like, we were sitting there for a while, and then nothing after it for a little while again.
Right.
And we're like,
That's the
damn, this
weird
is
part.
gnarly that it just went
Yeah.
three. And it happens like that sometimes where you'll have like people catching fish at the same time, but to have nothing for a while and then three and then nothing again. But then, so we catch those
Holy.
3 crappie. We're sitting there for a little bit longer. My dad catches a pike. My nephew catches a pike, and
Jeez.
then I think I don't know who else. Maybe my wife caught a second one. I think my wife caught a second one because we caught 4, but I don't know who all caught them. But we caught
Okay.
4 pike,
But
man. We
still.
caught as many
Yeah.
pike as we caught crappie,
That's crazy,
which
dude.
I don't think has ever happened before, like even close to that. Like regardless of what time of year,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm just like I'm nervous to see what the summer brings. I am going to keep
That's
every
right.
single
We've
northern.
talked
We're going
about
to
that
keep
so much. Go off.
because the DNR has like made the limit less on that lake than any other lake. They raised the limit for every other lake, and then they
Except for
kept
this
that
lake.
one like yeah, they kept it down. So it's like whatever. I'm keeping them, and I'm eating those 3, and then I'm going out and I'm catching another 3. But I didn't keep any of these this
Oh,
time because
okay.
I wasn't expecting us to keep 4. So the first one catch, okay, cool, throw it back. Second one, I was
Oh,
like, damn,
right.
maybe we should have kept those other ones, throw it back. Third one, I'm just like, well, we could have had some if we would have kept those other 2. We're not catching any more, throw it back. Number 4, I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on?
But they were eaters. Like you would have kept them as eaters. The
Yeah, they were
size of
little
them.
guys. Yeah, they were little
Yeah.
guys. Like you could have got some meat off of them, but for
Sure.
sure, like yeah, I didn't measure them. I wasn't really
Right,
looking
because you
to
weren't going to
keep
keep
any of
them,
them,
but
but
like
yeah.
looking back on the memory, like just thinking about it now, just recalling, you're like, yeah, we
Oh
could have
yeah,
eaten those things if they
for
would have
sure.
measured, of course.
Yeah, with 4 of them, hell yeah, could have ate all of them.
Fuck,
But
dude, so
so
weird.
because they were smaller too, they probably would have been good ones for like pickling because the bones are small.
I know, that's what I was thinking about too. It's like, shit,
Yeah.
okay, I guess I got to get up there.
so so we do that. I catch a tiny little bass. It's the only bass we caught. So clearly the water hasn't warmed up yet because a lot of times
Large?
when you're up in that area, yeah,
Oh,
the largemouth, there's a lot of largemouth that come up in there.
right.
So to only
I just
catch
want to
one
double
little
check.
one is like, okay, so they're not moving up to spawn yet at all.
Ah,
Maybe they're out and about swimming around, scoping stuff out. But
right.
back here, normally when the crappie spawn is on, the bass are up there like mad. And I only caught that
Okay.
one little baby.
Yeah.
And then my son actually, so I'm sitting there and I'm watching the bobber and it starts swimming sideways a little bit. And I set the hook and I feel it, and it feels like a decent fish, and it's his little rod. And he was
Yeah.
kind of like over it already because, we were sitting there for a while and not really getting
Right.
anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, Beckett, dude, come here, grab it. And he grabs it and I let him reel, and he's reeling it and he's reeling it and he's getting it all the way to the thing. And he's there and he's like still reeling it and he's like not really grabbing the concept. He's like reeling and reeling. I'm like, now you got to lift it up. And he's like, it won't go any farther. And I'm like, not reel it up, dude. Lift it up. You got to lift it now.
Uh-huh.
You're reeled all the way. You have to physically lift it in to the boat. And he tries and he gets it to close. And I'm like, higher, dude. And lifts it. And he gets it in. And we're like, whoa, dude, that's the biggest crappie. And it was the biggest one. And he's just like, yes, doing these kind of things. And he's like, I can't believe I caught that one. And then as soon as he catches it, we put it in the live
Dude.
well.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that was pretty cool. You want to go another? And he's just like, no, can I be done fishing now? And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You get that like adrenaline rush and you're just like, yes. And it just like, I was like, I know I'm saying like a lot right now. I'm hearing myself do it. But so I apologize for that. I'm saying like, and like, I'm like, oh, I started
You're hyped
annoying
up
myself. I'm trying to start annoying myself. But I was just, I guess, dude, if you like, that's a good call, I guess. Just go out on top.
Go out on top.
You catch the biggest one and you're just like, no, I think
I'm
that's it. We're
gonna
good.
stop.
I sat out here. You guys caught those 3 small ones, nothing for a while, a couple pike. And then I reel in the biggest crappie. I think we reached our peak, All right, dude. So, yeah, that was pretty much it. We sat there and it started to get a little bit darker and we said, well, we should probably get back across the lake before it gets too dark to land the boat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back, put the boat on the lift,
Hold
all
on.
that good
Before we
jazz.
jump into the next day, because
Yeah.
we've already talked a little bit about it. Before we jump into the next day, let me ask the thing that I was going to ask before, because before we get off of crappie fishing, I wanted to ask, is this the goal? This was the thing I started leading into a little bit early because I knew where you were going. And then I
Yeah.
was like, wait, save it for after the story. That's how you do this. That's real. That's conversation. So I
Sure.
stopped talking. So yeah, do you think this qualified for your goal, your fishing goal that you had, where like get out early, or was it just not early enough?
Not early
No,
enough. No,
no,
because they're moving already.
right. And that's what I thought,
I
but I want to
Yeah,
hear
I
your
think there's
thoughts.
probably some. I think there's probably some pre-spawn there where
Mm-hmm.
you could fish pre-spawn areas, and there are going to be crappie.
Yeah.
But because they're moving up already, it's like they're already here. There's no point in trying to learn if they're not here. Like,
Oh,
you got to getting when the
okay.
getting's good. It's like
Okay.
those
I
fish
got
are
you.
up in the shallows, so there's no point in trying where they might be. I might as well fish where I know they are.
Yeah. Okay.
So it got too late. Like even if they are a little bit further out,
Yep.
it's too close to when they're moving up to really learn anything.
I gotcha. So yeah, the whole technique of what you were talking about on the previous podcasts of like, hey, if they're not here, you might want to go out and try to find them in like maybe where the ice fishing is, and where
Right.
those like where they were maybe still down into deeper waters a little
Right,
bit.
exactly.
You didn't get a chance to
Yep.
do that because you were getting mixed messages. I don't know
Yeah.
how else to put that.
I
Is that
was
how you'd put it?
a little bit of mixed messages, but I think that just everything happened so fast this year that everything was moving up. I
Yeah.
think the only way I accomplish my goal is when we have like a normal ice out, and we're talking like
Gotcha.
we got weeks before the fishing opener starts.
Right. Like that
Not
whole March 1st is when you got to have the ice houses off. A few days later, not a few days, a week later, some ice off is already happening. Like you have
yeah.
the majority of March to get to maybe even start scoping lakes and being like, okay, this
Well,
one's
I
open,
think
this one's opening, this
yeah.
one's opening.
I think definitely we have a lot of April normally,
Yeah. Okay.
Like I think
Right.
most of April
Mm-hmm.
is open season, because they talk
Sure.
about like April showers bring May flowers.
Oh,
And
right.
this year
Right.
it was just like fucking April snowstorms. Uh, and then cross
Yeah,
your
fuck
fingers for
you.
May or whatever that saying. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Okay. Yeah.
so it was
So
it
you,
was gross,
I get
man.
it. I get
Yeah.
it. So yeah, that's why it didn't,
Yeah.
you were already thinking they were moving. And I know, I don't, let me, if this is getting ahead of things, or if you were jumping, if you're ready to jump into the other thing, but
Oh,
you
go
had me
ahead, man.
thinking, what, what, what do you think you learned from the pike? Like you're getting almost as many pike as you are crappie. You're in the same area. Like, did you learn anything about the pike movement, do you think? Or I don't know how they
Dude,
move at all. So,
no, no. So not. I didn't really learn anything for the pike because the pike will move up. Um, like in those weedy areas, they're always pike there. So I got
mhm,
two different things. One,
okay.
I've never given a shit when a pike spawns. I do not care. It just doesn't matter to me at all.
Okay.
And so it was like a
Yep.
two-parter. It's like one, walleye and pike spawn early. And it's like, were those pike legitimately up there to spawn? And we were catching them on like the back end of their spawn. I don't know where they spawn. I don't know anything about
Uh,
the
right.
pike movements out throughout the season because I don't target them because I don't have to. they're there eating anything that I throw out, regardless of where I am in the lake.
You're so easy. No, easy. You have so much pike bycatch that you don't really have to, that you haven't really made a point to study them like you have bass and other species that you really enjoy targeting.
Yeah, because they're the goddamn it fish. You know, like when you
thought
catch
I
big
had a
ones,
really good walleye on.
Yeah. When you catch the big, when you catch the big ones, it's fine. But I don't target them because most of the time, like, I'm out there just trying to catch a different species, and I end up catching a pike, and they bite off my line. You know, like they're snapping off jigs and biting off lures and stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm catching them when I'm trying to bobber fish. Like they're just always there.
Right.
So I don't seek them out, you know? We don't.
Yeah.
There's.
I mean, you know how to fish them though, because like when I asked you about like, can I catch one from shore, and we did that whole episode, and like that, you know, like
for sure,
you gave me a ton of tips, and I tried a bunch of things, or you know, I tried a few things, and like, so you know how to fish them, you know how to like put the leader on. You know, I only say that in case somebody's new to the podcast or something like that, right? And just come in here and because you're just like, I understood everything you were saying, but you were just like so dismissive, like whatever, man, pike, fuck them, like
yeah.
Like that's the way I was listening to it, with a not me and you rapport ear, and I was like, I better just kind of throw that out there.
Yeah. No, you can definitely like, you can fish for them the same way you fish for muskies if you're trying to catch bigger ones. I've caught bigger ones also trying to fish for bass. Like they'll hit those same lures and stuff.
Right.
Ironically, my biggest pike that I've ever caught, one was off of a bass jig when I was using a heftier size setup because I wanted to catch big bass. And the other one was off a 16th ounce jig early in the spring when I was trying to catch panfish. So it's just like,
there's two opposite ends of stuff. Like,
yeah,
just
so you can, there's a lot of ways to catch pike because they're, you know, just out there snatching up whatever. I mean, tiny jig, dude.
Right.
And I can't even remember what I had on there. Like a small, like,
it's weird.
I seem to remember it was like a green jig with like some sort of a black plastic, but I can't remember. But it wasn't very big at all.
Right. Interesting.
And that was it, dude.
Yeah, and now this too. It's just like more info on top of it, and it's like you're remembering this, like you have all this like filed away in your brain, but like what does it do? I don't know. Nothing really. Like you got it. You can bring it up when in conversation. Well, but for your personal techniques, you're just not going and like getting it. It's just happening to you.
Yeah, it's just happening. Yep.
Such a weird way to put it.
Because when I was younger, my dad would like go out sometimes trolling, and like the only ways we ever fished was like the weird live bait ways that I personally don't really ever use now. But we would have what he would call a harness, and I think it's still called just a minnow. I don't think it's called a minnow harness. I don't know what it's called exactly, because a minnow harness, it doesn't matter. But it's like this metal rod with a spinner on the front. So it's like a spinner here and a metal rod. And you shove that metal rod completely through the minnow. It goes in the mouth and you push it through until it pops out the asshole. And then once it pops out the butthole, you put this like dual, not a treble hook, but it's like 2 hooks instead of the 3 hook prong. So you put that on that metal piece. So it can't go back through. Like once it's through, you put that hook on there. And then you fish it like that, dude. You just drag it in the water. It's like an inline spinner, except for you have a real minnow on it.
Right.
And then you just drag that around, and then a northern comes and hits it sometimes. Or you would take those same big sucker minnows and you would just use one of those like softball size red and white bobbers. Or sometimes they're orange or whatever, but you just put those big ones on there.
Yep.
With a sucker minnow. And then that one is not like what the crappies are, where the bobber just starts swimming sideways.
That one, the minnow will actually move the bobber.
The minnow's swimming with it, and you're watching. You're watching it. Yep. So I did that when I was younger, and we targeted the northerns. And I
Sure.
remember telling other people, when we were little, just like my dad caught a 5-pound northern. And then just like you go and you catch one, you're just like, nah, I caught a 5-pound northern, telling everybody, I caught a 5-pounder. They're like, 5 pounds? Yeah, 5 whole pounds. 5-pound northern, 5 pounds. It had teeth. It was crazy. And now I'm just like, dude, 5-pound northerns just hit my shit all the time, and I'm sick of it.
So how'd you catch the bass? Because you were talking about the bass and how northerns just steal your shit all the time, basically when you're bass fishing. So how'd you get
Yeah.
this tiny baby bass? And that was one random
Oh,
occurrence, right? That didn't tell you shit about what's
yeah.
going on in the water, did it?
No, same shit. That it was all just bobber fishing up in the shallows.
Oh, okay. That was
Everything's
still
kind
on
of
the
in the
bobber.
same area. Yep. Everything was on the bobber. I didn't try to do anything else because we were only out for like an hour that morning.
Okay.
And then I had the ideas to I was going to go try for walleye in the morning. And so we successfully drove across the lake. And I wasn't sure
From
if
the crappie night, from that night that you guys were fishing for crappies
yeah,
at those
okay.
bites, right? Okay. So you're back at the
Yeah,
cabin from that.
we're back at the cabin. We do all that stuff. The next morning we go out and we drive directly across the lake. And the way the wind is blowing, it's pushing us from, like, it doesn't matter the direction, but where we're looking, the wind is going from left or from right to left. It's pushing
Okay.
that way.
Okay.
And I'm just like, perfect. I want to set up. I want to try to take some casts here because I've seen walleye here before, but it was a little bit warmer. I don't know if they're here or where they're at. This wind is throwing stuff off. I've physically seen them here. With this wind, I can't see shit. So I'm like, I just want to let it push me. I have no idea what depth we're dealing with, anything. Like what depth we should be dealing with, I should say. I know what depth
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yep.
And
At this point, you're out there hunting. You're just out there
right.
hunting for walleye.
And
You
I
kind of
probably
have
should have,
your area.
yeah.
You want to go for
So
it.
I probably should have put on a jig because that's what I've done. But also I was excited to try the new, I forget exactly what they're called. It's the Rapala Shadow Jig.
I feel like you talked about him on the last podcast when we were trying to predict the weather, which is how we'll hopefully we'll get to that and stuff like that. But we were talking about what techniques you're going to use and based on what the weather forecast is, a week ahead of time and all this other stuff. I think you brought it up in that, didn't you? Or am I wrong? I didn't go back and listen to the podcast, right? I just went forward and
I
thought
don't
about this
remember
one.
if I did or not.
Okay.
I think I did, probably.
Yeah. I feel like you talked about Rapala, so I don't know why, like what else we would have been talking about exactly.
Well, I think I might have brought up so there's a Rapala jigging wrap, which is more of like an ice fishing lure, or which is what it was made for, but people started fishing for it in the summer.
Yeah.
And I think I might have talked about that one. I don't know if I talked about the other one. But the jigging shadow wrap is actually lighter weight than the jigging wrap.
Okay.
And the jigging wrap has a hook on the front and the back, and then a treble hook underneath.
Oh, holy cow. I didn't see that treble hook coming.
Yeah. So on the jigging shadow wrap, it's a little bit different shaped. It's lighter weight than the jigging wrap.
Okay.
And it has the hook on the back with the treble underneath, no hook on the front. Whoa. But the thing with the fish in the springtime is that they move a little bit slower. So fishing a really fast bait doesn't really work that well.
Right.
So the jigging wrap is way heavier and it causes you to have to keep popping it faster. Like it literally just darts. Doom, 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 like that. Because it's kind of like it's almost like it has like a wing on the back. Like kind of a V-shaped wing.
Okay.
And it glides. Every time you pop it, it goes up and then it glides down. And then when you pop it again, it'll change directions. Pop and then glide down. Pop and then glide down.
Yeah, like left to right
So
as you pop it.
exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
And this is
And
the thing you're excited to fish?
so the thing I was excited to fish was this new shadow wrap because it's lighter. So
Okay.
it's like, oh, maybe we can get away with fishing that in the springtime. And that thing has been deadly on walleyes. Like it's just been something I was playing with the last couple of years. And last year I
Mhm.
really started getting into it, learn like fishing way deeper than I ever had before, all sorts of fun stuff. And I was like, this thing
Mhm.
is telling me so much stuff. I'm so excited to try to use this certain thing for where I saw a walleye in the spring.
Mhm.
I let the boat push us. I fished it in that area. I got what I thought maybe was 2 bites, but I didn't actually hook up on anything. So I was like, I don't know if I
Okay.
just caught weeds. I didn't have any
Right.
weeds. It's fast. It's kind of hard to tell because when you're constantly popping it,
Yep.
every once in a while when you rip it up, there's just weight there.
Okay.
And then, but it was like I felt something, but then I didn't feel anything. It just for a second, there was more than my lure there.
Right.
So I'm like, that didn't really tell me much. I don't know if I had a fish. One time definitely felt like a bite where I was like, that felt like a fish.
Okay.
But I've also had times where like smaller fish come up to see what it is. And I
Mhm.
literally just run the fucking lure into them. Boom.
You
And you're
snag
like,
them.
that
Yeah.
that felt like something, you know?
Uh-huh.
So, anyways, we took that one pass, didn't catch any fish. And it was like, I'd like to sit here more and try to figure this out, but we don't need to. I was taking one pass and I was like, if this works, cool. We can take another pass. If I catch a fish and we're like, there's fish here, we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Awesome. It didn't work out the first time. So
Mhm.
I immediately just said, it's cold, it's windy this part of the lake. Let's just go back to where we were yesterday and
Mhm.
catch crappie because we know we can do that. We can figure out walleye some other time. If it was just me, I would
Mhm.
have sat there longer and I figured them out.
Mhm.
But it was my dad and my nephew. Neither of them are fishing like I am. So they're just kind of like, my dad's just like dragging a jig on the bottom with a minnow. And I'm like, that's perfect, honestly. Like, do that
Yeah.
and
Yep.
we'll see if that catches anything. And
Right.
then my nephew, he was casting some fucking garbage lure that he had. And he's like, I just want to try this. I'm like, yeah, dude, whatever. Fine. That's not going to teach us anything. But I guess if you catch it, I'll just be like, oh, look at that piece of shit worked. I don't know. It was just some weird little like cheap swim bait that didn't swim right. And
Uh-huh.
he's like, oh, you got to fish it like this to make it work. And I'm like, dude, you do whatever you got to do to make it work because it's not doing what it's supposed to. The eyelet's like it's leaned over and the body's soft. So I couldn't grab it to like tweak the eyelet over so it would swim true. It wouldn't swim
Uh-huh.
straight. It kept like half-ass leaning on its side, trying to turn to the right. Just weird shit. Doesn't matter. So we didn't catch any fish, and we're like, we're gonna go back to where those crappie are.
Mhm.
We fire up the motor, start driving, and we get maybe 100 yards from where we're at, and all of a sudden it goes beep. And we're like, what the fuck is that? And my dad looks down, and it says no oil on the dash. And we're
Not
like,
even
no,
low oil.
not low. It says no oil. We go,
No
no
oil.
oil.
What
What the fuck?
the
So he shuts it down and then he goes back and looks. Oil tank is full, because it's got a
Oh,
separate. It's a 4-stroke engine, so it's got its own separate oil reservoir. So it like pumps the oil into the gas automatically.
yeah. Yep.
And yeah, because I think it's a 4-stroke, but it's the I don't know. I forget.
But either way, it's
I
not
don't.
like a mix. It's not like an old lawnmower where you have to mix it, or like even an
Yeah,
older
no,
boat engine, right?
right.
Where it's not, you put the oil in the gas. It's like for every gallon of
Exactly.
gas, you put in a
Yeah.
quart of oil or whatever the fuck it is.
Right.
It's not
Right.
that. You
No,
fill
it's
them up
not that.
separately.
It is you fill up the oil and it does its thing.
Right.
So we're like, all right, well, I guess the oil pump's gone. And my dad's like, well, it just said it, but the oil's full. And he's like, we'll try it again. And we start it up. And then we're like, it doesn't smell right though.
Yeah.
It's definitely
But you can
not.
tell right away
Dude,
on a boat engine.
yeah. Yeah. It's like, that does not smell like it's supposed to. So we go,
Shit.
okay. So we drive back the boat from where we're at with the trolling motor, and we're like about as far away as you can get, but we got the wind at our back. Not a big deal, but it takes us like 40 minutes to drive back to the cabin with
Sure.
just the trolling
Shit.
motor, just sitting there driving. We get back, we're like, all right, well, we got to take it to a shop. So we'll drive it over to the landing, but let's eat some
Oh,
breakfast. We eat some breakfast, and then this is how chilly the wind was. I put on 3 sweatshirts because I'm like,
god
well, I
damn.
just have to. I have to sit here with no windshield to block the wind because it's going to be at my back. So I'm just going to have wind blowing at my back. And
Oh,
it's like,
fuck.
in the
Yeah.
morning, it was like 45, 50 degrees with
Yeah.
like
It
strong
was
winds. So
cold,
I'm just
dude.
like, I just need to bundle up. And I
Hmm.
just, put on the 3, put on the trolling motor on high, grabbed a second battery because I'm like, if one battery dies, I got a second battery right here ready to go.
Good call.
And then I just played on my phone while I slowly drove across the lake.
I played on my phone. And there ain't nobody else out here. And I am going
No,
3 miles an hour.
I know. I was saying like
Fuck.
I got my portable speaker. I should have put on there just at 2 miles an hour so everybody
Yeah,
sees
dude.
me. I should have just played that on loop.
Just played that.
Just put on my shades and act like I meant like I'm doing this because.
Right.
Just wait, somebody else comes over and they just be like, are you doing okay? Just be like, doing more than okay, bro. Fishing opener. They just have a story to go back to tell.
Fishing
Yeah.
opener.
How'd this weekend go? Oh, it's great. And we got out going fishing, everything was good. And you're never gonna believe this. Some dude just driving across the lake. It's cold and it's windy, and he's just playing 2 miles an hour
It's
as
just
he's
got
driving
Ludacris
across.
on, and he's fucking playing on his phone, driving a full size boat with just the trolling motor.
Yeah,
He had sunglasses
just
on. It was cloudy out.
I thought
Crazy
maybe
dude.
he was stuck, but then we were like, "Are you okay?" And he was just like, "Hell yeah!"
And we drove away. It was fucking weird.
Yeah, he was living his best life, doing nothing but driving a trolling motor across.
Now I want to hear
So I
more
drove.
about like where the boat is now and stuff like that. But I want to go back
Mm,
to the fishing news and how I brought that topic to tie into all this. Besides the weather and like the rain and how it was kind of going, um, because we are getting some rain now, and that's why we were talking about it. But the lake that you're on has been overfull. So it's been overfull for 2, 3,
yes,
4
yeah.
years now. It's been a long time. So what the hell's going on there? And did that
It's
fuck with you this weekend or this
it's
past
not any
period of
better.
time?
It didn't fuck with me, no, because it's been kind of stable around here for a while.
Mm, okay.
But it's still over full. The cabin at the end of my parents' road has like the corner of the one cabin, like the foundation is washed away.
It's just
I
gone now.
think that cabin had been sitting there forever, like in the water, and just looked normal though. And now the one corner, like the roof and everything you can see is like sagging. Like
Yep.
it's all that corner's falling into the water.
Yep. It's
So,
about to go.
yeah. Ironically, that was the dude that used to always water the road because he didn't like it when you drove by and got all the dirt on his cabin. Ain't getting dirty now, is it, fuckface? Got plenty of water to keep that thing from getting dusty. Oh, it sucks for him. Like I'm just
No, I know.
joking,
You're just trying to make light of the situation. I get where you're going like that, but
it
because that guy used
sucks,
to
but
just
it
piss you
is
off all the time, and now
oh, it is ironic. That dude would literally be out there like Saturday morning with a freaking garden hose watering the road so it wouldn't like kick up dust when you drove by.
right,
And he'd be telling people that they needed to slow down.
slow
Like,
down. Of course, yeah, I knew
we're
that
going
was
10
coming.
miles an hour, dude.
Right?
Nobody goes fast on this road.
No,
Slow down.
I know. I have the same thing with you get in these tight little neighborhoods, and everyone, like the fucking at home, the people who just work at home and have nothing else to, or don't even work at home. That's the people who are just the stay at home parent. They have nothing else to do. So to feel valuable, they feel like they have to bitch about the neighborhood. Whatever it is, it
Ooh,
doesn't matter. Just pick a thing, right? So that way they have
sure.
something to focus on, focus their energy on. It's always negative.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to put up speed bumps, or they have to make sure that every corner has a sign on it that says slow children playing and has the speed limit on it. You know,
Oh
they
yeah.
feel better if they did that. That's how they feel so good. Like they're fucking heroes of the
Yeah.
neighborhood. And then you go, yeah, we all live here. We're all
Right.
doing fucking 10 or 15 miles an hour through this neighborhood already. Like, what?
Yeah. I
Wait.
drive. Yeah. I
These
drive
roads are
by.
fucking tiny.
Right. I've been seeing these signs that say 20 is plenty. And I just want to be like, tell my fucking boss. I don't, I got shit to do. 20 is plenty.
Right.
I got a
Right.
job to get done. I'm not going 10 miles an hour under the speed limit on every single one of those roads where there's no children present.
Right.
You
Right.
just have your sign up.
Your sign is, yep. Yeah, exactly. Because that's the other thing, right? Is that this is only for people going in and going out of the neighborhood at 3:30 and at 7:30 in the morning, 7:30 in the morning and 3:30 in the afternoon,
Yeah.
right? Like it's only this in and out work traffic that you're complaining about, and this stupid ass
Yeah.
sign has to be there all day. That speed bump has to slow down the guy trying to get, your Amazon
Yeah.
packages to your house. You
Yeah.
ordered 10
Or,
things from Target and now I have to bring them in, and you have these goddamn speed bumps in the
yeah.
way. You know how heavy that is in this truck?
Yeah. Right.
I
Or
mean,
they're
I don't
just
know,
like,
but I can imagine,
you bring their package to their house and just like, oh, the box looks a little bit damaged. Yeah, your fucking speed bump had it fly off the shelf. I hit the speed. I was going slow, but the back of the truck is a little bit longer than the wheelbase. I had it way in the back. I hit your speed bump, and it was like a freaking teeter totter. Fucking catapult. There it went. Sorry.
Sorry.
I
Okay,
wasn't
anyways,
trying. But yeah,
we got a
anyways,
we got
like,
on a
so
rant there. So how's the boat doing? And yeah, how's the boat now? Do you know?
so the boat currently, as of 4 o'clock, my parents asked them, and they said that they had not got to it yet. They brought it
Busy.
into the shop yesterday. They said that they would get to it today, but then they didn't get to it,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
fine. Shit happens,
That
people,
totally happens. Yeah.
they're giving you an estimate of when they're going to get, look at it. So if
Right.
there's some other thing they got to fix, or the problem with the last boat ended up being more than they were estimating, now he's got to do a little bit more extra work or whatever.
Right. Yeah, of course.
It
That
is
totally
what it
happens.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, stuff happens. So they didn't get to it
So
yet.
you
So
don't know as of
currently
recording.
we're still waiting. I'm hoping. My dad fired it up like twice after that to see, if um to try to figure out, what's going on, because it wasn't like bringing
Yep.
up the warning light again. So he's
Okay.
like, that's kind of weird. Maybe it isn't fine. Maybe it just had like a faulty sensor. And then the last time he fired it up, me and my nephew immediately were just like, nope, that smells weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something off for sure.
Right.
So he shut it off. And then according to the book, it says that it will run for 5 hours in safe mode.
Holy
Like
shit.
basically, like there's no oil and it can run for 5 hours.
Wow.
Which is, I've never heard of that before, man.
I've
It sounded
never
crazy.
heard of an engine running very long without oil. Like
That's what it says. Like it's in safe mode. It'll go
wow.
into like get you home mode. Like you can drive slow.
Right.
Like it won't let it go over a certain RPMs.
Like you could push the throttle and nothing happens. It only will go the one speed or whatever.
Yeah, it'll like let you keep driving, but it won't go very fast. And I was like, well, that seems crazy. So we're hoping that it's not too serious, where we're like, well, we didn't run it very long at all.
Right.
And
right.
it's still fired up. Like the 2 times he was checking on it, just perfect.
Right.
So it
Still
wasn't like it
started,
seized
and
up or anything. So we're like,
Mhm.
fingers crossed. He's a little bit jaded because he had the ficked Evinrude before that, which is a
Oh,
notorious motor for being whatever that Ficht was. I think it's a
there's
guy's last name, and they
okay.
bought Evinrude, and then they started like outsourcing parts from like Mexico,
Hmm.
and they like were just inferior products, and they all shit out. My dad had that motor, and it like for a while just wouldn't start firing up or whatever.
Hmm.
And then they brought it in, and they said it was like a scorn cylinder, and there
Jesus.
was nothing they could do to fix it. Like the motor
No.
was just shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're just
What the
like, okay,
hell?
cool.
So he's got that
Yeah.
bad experience still in
He's
this
got
in the
that
back of
bad
his mind, like
experience.
fucking A.
Dude, as soon as it goes
But
down, my
this boat's
parents
been
are like,
around for a while. This motor's been around for a while. You gotta have some confidence in it.
yeah. Yeah, it's been doing well. The boat's like a 2000, and I think the motor is like a 2013 or something. 20
Okay.
maybe like 2011, 2012 or something. So it's like 10
Yeah.
years old.
Yeah.
It's been doing well, but as soon as that happened, him and my mom are just like, we're not buying a new motor. And I'm like, whoa, guys, like let's
Pump the brakes.
just
Pump the
pump the
brakes.
brakes. Hopefully it's not your motor is shit immediately. You know, that's not a
Right.
normal thing. It's not
Right.
normally just the motor's done, you know?
That's not normally how this works. It just was how it worked last time with you guys, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Your boat motor is not very old at all. Most boat motors last a very long time.
Right.
So let's just chill and hope for the best.
That's
So
funny though.
hopefully that's what happens. But yeah, that was fishing opener. A
Damn.
decent hour catching some fish, but it was cold. And then we're like tomorrow. So and then we're packing up everything right.
Yeah.
It's like noon. It's like 74. The wind is dying down. There's not a cloud in the sky. I'm just like, fucking A, dude.
Fuck.
It's beautiful. And there's nothing we can do. We have to drive home now.
Right. Like
And there was like,
everything's already written off.
dude,
Everything's already halfway's in the car. There's just your
I
boat's not
was
ready. There's just nothing you can do.
I was trying to stay calm, and I just walk around every once in a while, and I just like look over my shoulder, like see nobody around, and I just go, fuck. No. Ah! And then I just like try to, all
Imagine,
right,
dude.
regain the composure. And then like a little bit later, like I'd have that feeling again. I just like look out at the
Uh-huh.
lake, and I'd see everything, and I'd just go, "Ah! Oh!" Just have to like randomly just like rage for a little bit.
Just yeah.
Like if anybody saw me, they'd just be like, that dude has Tourette's. Just like, no, his boat, his
Looks
means
like
of
he was doing
fishing
fine
just,
just a second ago, and
yeah.
now he's freaking out.
Oh, yeah. And it's
That's
just
just
like,
proof too, though. Like why this ended up being basically a three-parter, and why this ended up being like a bummer of a weekend, because it just made you feel that way. Like you just couldn't control it because you were looking forward to the day
dude,
to this so fucking much. And it's just like, damn, dude, I feel so bad
uh,
for you.
it's okay. But I'll tell you, like it carried into the week. We can get,
Oh,
if you're
fuck.
ready, we can roll right into the next topic. And I'll just be like, it just kept, it wasn't that big of a deal, but it just kept fucking snowballing. Like everything wasn't going right. Where eventually it got to a point where I'm just kind of like laughing, just walking
Oh,
into a place
fuck.
and like
Really?
looking for something. And I'm just like, yeah, of course, of course. You know, like it
Fucking A.
wasn't, it turned into be like nothing that was that big of a deal, but it was still just like that whole,
Right.
obviously,
Because
obviously.
right, because you have this thing on your head. Like you have this thing in your brain, so every little annoying thing was amplified, right?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Let them know. RealAF.tv. Scroll down a little bit. There's the Patreon link. It'll shoot you right over. Sign up for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
Let's keep it rolling.
Hey.
You might not know what that is, but we're gonna go into let's just jump right into let's just keep this rolling and we'll still put a break in there. So if you're hey, welcome back to the Real AF TV podcast show about fishing random takes. Land 1,000 lakes here in the random take. The reason why I did that so weird and awkwardly is because unlike taking an actual break like me and Tim usually do, compress, get out of fishing, get back into our get into our mindset of ready to go for the random take. We're not doing that. So you heard the Patreon in between. Yep, thank you. Hopefully, you know what a Patreon is. But we're gonna keep rolling. That was the sound of a chest opening up in the Switch version of Zeldas. That was the sound of a chest. Yeah.
I said ha because I was assuming it was something like that, but also I was like, that was like a weird version of the GameCube noise.
Oh, that's right.
It sounds very similar.
Yeah. I can feel the similarities in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're here in episode 69 of the Real AF TV podcast.
69.
God, I love that. And we got to talk about Zelda because that was your weekend and then Zelda was my weekend. So I knew like I had been, I'll just start like this. Breath of the Wild is one of my favorite games of all time. Top 3 for sure. Top 3. And I'm a PlayStation kid.
Sure.
And I have a avoidance about it. I've had an avoidance about it. Like you can spoil shit with this game because it is just about going out there and adventuring. So I've been trying to kind of avoid it until just like the last few weeks. So I didn't even really know until April when the exact date was because I was just trying to avoid it. I didn't want to get too hyped. I didn't want to get too excited. I didn't want to lose my mind before I was going to lose my mind, right? Like, and so I think it was only in episode 68 where I actually knew the release date for sure. It might have been before that, but I only had it on my calendar.
Sure.
Long story short, Tears of the Kingdom release date was Friday. Fishing opener was technically midnight that night, right? So like you could have gotten Tears of the Kingdom at midnight on Thursday in quotes, and then midnight on Friday would have been opener. So like that all behind, I knew like there was a 98% chance I wasn't going to get to go fishing, but I was fucking going to Hyrule. I was going like I had a plan. I had a fucking plan. So you said your fishing weekend ended like shit.
Yeah.
I want to hear like how that rolled into your week because you're like you just said fuck it happened all you just want to roll into it.
Yeah
like what happened during the week because I have some crazy launch day stories that I got to tell before we even I'll get to them sometime in here, but please
so we're dealing like Sunday happens, we come home or whatever, and Costco closes early on Sundays, right?
Oh, okay.
And I knew that they were selling the new Zelda and everything else didn't go right. And I'm like, dude, I'm probably not going to we probably won't have the boat back by next weekend anyways. And I'm hearing so much hype about this video game.
Like it's been out for 3 days, not even 3 days yet.
And so many people are talking about this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm all in now. I'm just like, I text you. I'm like, did it live up to the hype? Like, I need to hear from somebody else. And you're just like, I'm as all in as I can be. And I'm like, that's what I wanted to hear. So I'm like, I'm going to go pick this up on Monday. And I go to Costco because they were selling it there. And I'm like, yep, I'm going to get so obviously I could probably buy it from someplace else, but Costco has it for $10 off right now. And I'm like, I'm not spending more. Plus, Costco has some deal where whatever our membership level is like we get cash back at the end of the year.
Oh, sweet.
So it's like $10 off plus,
plus it's
small
a decent
percentage is cash back. Like, why not?
Yeah. It's $60 and so you're going to get a nice little chunk from that.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, we'll wait. And I go in there on Monday and they still
after work?
Yeah, so the display is out, but there's no price tag hanging over it. Like they moved it from by the doorway to where it was to over by the electronics, and I'm like, that makes sense. You know,
Right.
it was
Yeah, you're
there.
like, it's not launch day anymore. That's all
Yeah,
past.
yeah.
Launch day hype's gone.
And
Move it where it
do
belongs.
I think I think I was there on launch day, and that's why it was there at the door. Because I was like, oh,
Oh,
that's crazy. I can't believe it's right by the door. Like,
right.
and that's another thing that made me think, like, damn, the hype is real. You
Sure.
know, I've never seen them have one single video game right by the door before. This is
Right.
gnarly.
Right.
So I go and I go back and they don't have the price over it. I'm like, well, it makes sense. They just must have moved it and they didn't hang the price over it.
Right.
And there's no, so they have like little cardboard pieces. They're like tag board,
Oh.
and you grab them and then you walk up and then they go grab the game from the back for you.
Oh.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
So
I've heard
none
of
of
this.
those pieces are like where people can reach them, but I'm tall and I can see some. So I just kind of like reach back and grab one. And I
Sure.
go in and I hand it to them and they're like, oh yeah. And they're about to like ring it up. And then one guy's like, oh, let me go check real quick. And they go back and they're just like, yeah, that last guy, like, so literally they're just like, that guy just walked out with the last one.
No
So I
way.
didn't get a copy. The other dude like walked out right before me, and I'm just like,
Right before you, like you guys
all right.
crossed paths. You were going in as he was going out,
Yeah,
kind of shit.
yeah, pretty much. So I'm like, okay. So I made
Fuck.
it here just a little bit too late, and if you were open a little bit later on Sunday, I would have had it, but I don't. Anyways,
Right.
like, fuck.
Fucking
So
A.
I figure out like the guy too is just like, I don't know when we're getting more in. They're trying to allocate more to us, and I'm just like, do you have any idea, like even close? And he just goes, this is the email that they sent out this morning, and it says, do not throw away display. And he's like, so that's a good sign. It means we're getting more. And he's like, but it doesn't say when.
Right.
And I called and they said that they're getting more Friday. So as of this recording, I will
Okay.
be picking up my copy tomorrow as long as it comes in. But
Yeah,
that's the plan.
as long as they get a nice size shipment.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, well, I ran out of time, or like I don't have a lot of time left, and I don't have the game, but I need to mow my lawn. But I want to change the oil on my lawnmower before I do anything.
Yeah,
So I'm looking,
because it's been sitting all
and
winter, right? Like
yep,
you don't use your lawnmower to, you don't have a plow attachment or
right,
blower attachment
exactly.
or shit. So
Yep.
yeah, you're gonna tune it up.
Yep. So I wanted to change the oil, and I do not want to mow the lawn until I get the oil changed. But I need to find the proper like oil filter and stuff.
Yeah.
And I go into Home Depot because Home Depot, I have a Cub Cadet. Home Depot sells my stuff. I go into Home Depot and I'm looking at all their stuff, and the kid comes over and he's just like, is there anything I can help you with? And I tell him what I'm looking for, and I'm like, I'm looking for Kohler. It's got a Kohler engine. I want the Kohler filter.
Yeah.
And he's looking at all the stuff and he's like, oh, it says we have it online. And if you order it now, you can have it by next Monday. And I'm like,
Fuck.
wait till next Monday. Also, like, you sell Cub Cadets here. Why don't you have the oil
Why
filter
don't
for
you have
the
parts,
lawnmower
especially
use?
something so common?
Yeah, and I literally even told him, I'm just like, no, makes sense. It's how everything's going. And he's just like, oh, sorry about that, dude. And I'm like, no, it's not your fault, man. You know, you're just like stocking shelves or whatever. I'm
Right.
just in that mood. And then,
This is like, you just caught me on the wrong day, dude. On the wrong week.
dude, so that's like 8 o'clock, and everything closes at 8 still.
Yeah,
Like they're still on like the shortened hours or whatever.
I know.
Fleet Farm doesn't even sell Cub Cadets, so I'm like, they probably don't have my stuff there.
Right.
Tuesday, I'm like, Runnings sell is where I bought my lawnmower from.
Sure.
And I know they have a shit ton of Cub Cadets, so it'd be crazy that they don't have it.
Yeah. And
I
plus,
go out-
Runnings is the most farm-ass farm store of all
Yeah,
time.
exactly.
You're just like, they
So
got
I go
everything.
there. I go there on Tuesday, and Tuesday they have the oil filters, and I go, shit, I forgot to look which one I need.
Okay.
And then I go, doesn't matter. I know they have my lawnmower out front. I'll just go out there, look at which one that has, and come back in and buy it. I walk outside, look at the oil filter. I go, that's the one I need. I start walking back in, and the door is locked. I go, what the fuck? And I look down, and it's like 7:58. I'm like, are you shitting me?
What the fuck,
That
dude?
so I'm just like, whatever. It's close enough to 8 that they're just like, oh, we're not letting anybody else in because we
Because we gotta
close in
check
2
people
minutes
out
or whatever.
or
But
whatever.
so I'm like, all right, and that's like the opposite side of town for me.
God
Which in
damn
this
it.
town with stoplights and stuff and construction, that's
Right.
like a 15-minute drive across town.
You're cruising.
So
And
yeah,
that's you
so it's
knowing the
like,
fucking way to get around.
yeah,
That's your way of getting around too.
yep,
Like you know how to
yep,
zip around and go, oh, I'm
yeah,
gonna cut this way to go that way to get to
yeah,
shorten this route.
right. And
Your town's way
so
bigger
get
than 15 minutes across.
so get this. I get they have the shit that I need at Runnings, but I wasn't able to grab it. The next day, my route that I do for my job drives past the Runnings on the way home. And I'm
Oh,
like, that's not even that far out of the way.
right,
I'll stop there and not have to run all the way across town.
right.
I go in, they have all the spots on the shelf for what I need,
Okay.
and they're not a single one.
What
Nothing.
the
There's like
fuck?
10 different spots for all this Kohler stuff, and there's none of it. And I'm like, do they have it?
What?
They have so much of this in
They
St.
have.
Cloud. So now I drive out of the way to stop at this one that's technically on the way, but not, because it's like
Right,
it's
yeah.
less out of the way than the other store. And I'm like,
Right,
well,
right.
now I'm going to 2.
Fuck,
So yeah.
dude.
But then I got the oil changed, and then today I come home and it's like it rained a little bit,
rainy.
but it was windy and stuff. And it's like, oh, that's whatever. I can still mow the lawn. And then we finished eating supper, and I look down, and I'm just like, it's fucking 7:30 already.
Right.
My wife's like, yeah, and I'm like, well, I mean, me and Josh are recording tonight, so I guess the lawn gets moved tomorrow night, which really sucks because tomorrow I'm supposed to have Zelda.
Right. Fucking A.
Fucking butts, dude.
Maybe you can
So I'm
drive the
like,
Cub Cadet with your knees and play Zelda at the same time and still do a decent
Oh,
job.
dude, no, you know what I can do?
Film yourself doing that and then just
I
put
can
it on
control the pedal with my foot. Just the gas and whatever.
Yeah.
My son loves driving it.
Boom.
Just be like, you're steering, I'm working the pedal,
Right.
and playing Zelda, and you're no
Steer me
questions.
right,
Don't
son.
jump off. We're gonna run the blades this time. You've never driven it with the blades going, so you stay on there because I
Yes.
got Zelda-ing to do. All right, so
Hell yeah.
now to
Okay.
the actual meat and potatoes of Zelda.
Yeah. Well, first I'm going to start it off with I'm sorry that your week sucked so bad because my Zelda
whatever.
launch couldn't have gone better.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely
awesome.
couldn't have gone better. The only thing, so here's the one hitch,
Ooh,
and this is the
hold
here's
on.
the funny thing. Okay, yeah.
I gotta tell you, I want to hear about this. I just don't let me forget about Target and their website, because I saw some stuff when I was trying to be like, am I just like getting too excited about this game, or is it gonna live up to the hype? So I went on the Target and I saw their reviews, and then I was like, uh-oh. So we'll get back to that.
Okay. Okay. So funny because Target plays directly into what I'm saying. So okay,
right.
my launch couldn't have gone better. So the only thing I got pre-ordered for Zelda was the new amiibo. You know what amiibos are? The amiibos are the like little figures that have the NFC chip in the bottom of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So I got that pre-ordered. Everything else sold out, this except for the standard edition, but I knew that was going to be available when I went out. So
sure.
I couldn't get the collector's edition. There's a controller. I couldn't get the controller. And
but you planned on getting that stuff?
Yeah, so I wanted it, right? Like I was just like, okay, that would be my ideal situation. If I go there and the physical edition is the only thing that's available, fuck them. I'm going to download it. Like I'm just like, if I can't get what I want with this, I love this game. I want to collect it. I collect physical editions of games I'm in love with, and I know I'm going to love this game.
Yeah.
So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to show up. I just told my wife, I'm going to show up, right when Target opens. I'm going to be there at 7:00. So like, whatever that means for daycare, whatever that means for your work, just be ready. I took the fucking day off for this. I'm going to be
Yeah.
there at 7. So I literally took 8
Right.
hours of PTO on Zelda launch
Nice.
day.
Nice.
Because I was like, I'm going on vacation to
Dude,
Hyrule.
I didn't even second guess that. I told my wife. I was like, Josh is home today. He takes off on big launch days.
Yep. Totally was.
Yep.
So I have a little bit of the jitters going into the night, but I calmed down pretty good, and I'm able to fall asleep on time.
Yeah.
But like any little thing woke me up, and Theo the dog had shifted in the night, and
Okay.
it was just a little shift, and I was like, I'm awake. He's probably got to pee. I probably got to pee. If
Yeah.
I stand up here, watch, we'll just both go to the bathroom. And he jumped out right away. As soon as I started to wiggle around, he jumped out, and I went, okay, that's his cue. He's going to go to the bathroom.
Sure.
So I wonder what time it is. Because he's been waking up. I kind of knew his times. Click my phone. It's 12:37.
Damn.
And I'm like, okay, don't get hyped. Cool down, dude. You're going to
Right.
Target in the morning. Take him outside. I go to the bathroom. I lay down, and I reach for my tablet right away. I had my tablet on my bed, and I just went, all right, fuck this. I'm going to see. Maybe there's stuff available.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm wrong. Okay, so yes, I'll finish this story. So I grab my tablet,
Yeah.
and I go to Best Buy, and the collector's edition is still available for order.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, it's $130. If you don't get it, what's the consequence? You don't spend that money, and then you just download it. Like, that's not a big deal.
Right.
If it's at Target and it's there, which it probably won't be, then you get it. Lucky you. Okay. You know what? I don't need it that bad. $130, I don't need it that bad. Shut off my tablet, set it aside, sit there, roll around. I can't fucking get back to sleep. I go back on. It's still just before 1:00, and I fucking got a pre-order of the collector's edition at Best Buy at like 12:45 or like 12:55, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God, I did it. I fucking did it. I don't know why. I can't. I love this game. I'm going to love this game. I have to do it. So I just let it ride. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm able to calm myself down and go to sleep. Still easily awakened by any movement in the room. But I said that wrong, because this is how Target starts to play into it besides the physical store.
Sure.
I tapped my phone actually before we went downstairs. Yeah, I got up. I think that's how I said it, right? I got up, and I was like, okay, I wonder what time it is. And I look, and it's 12:37. So I grab my phone and I'm just like, I'll go look just out of curiosity as I take the dog out, go to Target, find out the controllers available for pre-order, or like, yeah, I could order it. I can order it. It's not pre-order. They have them in stock, and I can order it. So the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom Pro controller for Switch is still available. I fucking bought it while the dog is sitting outside taking a whiz. Like, I'm at the door looking at the dog, and I'm going, yeah, I'm fucking buying this thing right now. So I got it on Target, and they delivered it in like 2 days. So I still got to use it over the weekend, and I was like, oh my God, I got my fucking controller. I'm so excited. Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have my fucking classic, or my collector's edition. I got that pre-ordered. Hell yeah. And I wake up and I go, yeah, but I still have to go because that fucking collector's edition isn't going to get here for 2 days. I have to play this game today. What did I do? So now I'm thinking, I'm going to end up buying this fucking game 2 times, the $69.90 version, right? And then the collector's edition is going to come in the mail, and I'm going to be the bitch that can't fucking get rid of. I have to play today, but I can't get rid of my collector's edition.
Yeah.
Shit, no, man. Target had like 8 of them. I was in a line of 12 people, and it was like 2 people in front of me, and me and the other guy who were the back of the line of the 12 people who were there at 7:00. And so I got my collector's edition, my physical collector's edition at Target at
Hell
7
yeah.
o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
I was so fucking hyped, dude. So I just canceled my Best Buy one, and my controller was on the way, and my Amiibo's still somewhere with UPS. Like, the thing I pre-ordered isn't even fucking here yet.
What do you get with the Amiibo? Does that hook you up with like a new skin or some shit?
I don't even know, but it'll
Okay.
unlock stuff. Yeah.
Because
Like,
that's what,
it
yeah,
did in the
like
first
that's
one.
the only thing I know about the Amiibo for sure is that like that's how you unlock certain characters in certain games,
In
right? Like
certain
some of the
games. Yep.
fighting games, like you
Yep.
get the Amiibo and now you have that character to play.
Yeah. So
Okay. So that's
I
why
don't even know, because I'm not going to
Okay.
open it. I have it simply for as an action figure to go with the game.
Oh, sure.
Like, I won't
Sure.
open it, and so I'll never know even.
How close do you have to have it? You can't
It
make
doesn't go
Amiibo?
through the package because I've tried it before.
Okay, because I wonder
Yeah.
like if it did go through the package, you just fucking bring your Switch with you.
Yeah, well, you're in the store, and then yep. It was really the thing that it did in Breath of the Wild, which 100% this is just Breath of the Wild 2.
Sure.
So that's what I expected from it. That's what I
Yeah.
wanted from it. That's what it is. I'm fucking so stoked on this game.
Dude,
So go
I
ahead.
got a question about that.
Yeah.
Am I, from what you've seen so far,
Yes.
do you think it's gonna matter that I'd never played the first one?
Not even a little bit.
Perfect.
Nope.
Most video games aren't like a movie.
Right.
Where they're like, if you didn't watch the first one, you'll be lost. Like,
Yep.
Perfect. That's what I wanted to hear. Where just like, I just wanted to make sure that the storyline wasn't going to be like where I'm like, I don't know.
No.
What's happening.
Right.
Perfect.
No, it's all Zelda lore stuff. Like you're talking about this ancient race, which anybody who's played Zelda for a long time, which by the way, I've played Zelda. Game Boy and Nintendo are where I started. Then I lost everything because I was a Sega kid. I was a PlayStation kid. I'm a Sega and a PlayStation kid. And then I came back on board with Breath of the Wild, because to me, Breath of the Wild became like, it's that adventure game, which I think which my memory is that's what the first Zelda is, right? They just drop you into this world and they're like, figure it out. It's like,
yeah.
Because what else could you do on Nintendo? The whole game was taking up all the memory. You couldn't put a fucking tutorial in here. You had to just figure it out.
Right.
And this isn't quite that, but it feels like it. Like these games, they just feel like, I don't know. Here it is. Your turn.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the best part about it. So no, you don't have to know anything. If you're deep into Zelda lore, you're gonna pick up on everything. Not a spoiler, and you may not even know, but you have the Master Sword like right when you drop in and you have a Master Sword. It's not.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not a spoiler because you can see that anywhere in any of the trailers and anything like that, and you start to pick up on it.
Yeah, I watched a little bit. Like I would just like I know so little about Zelda.
Yeah, that the lore of it.
That honestly, like I'm saying, oh okay, but also I don't know what a Master Sword is.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it doesn't even matter. But
I watch a trailer and he has like abilities, and I'm like, oh, all right, Link can like do stuff,
right?
And then like you're just like building, and they're like
building shit.
Anything in your environment you can pretty much put together and make stuff, and I'm like, sold. I watched 2 seconds, and I don't like to learn a lot before, so I'm like, all right, I'll watch a real quick trailer, and they're just like. The guy literally goes, it's like the map from the first one, but things aren't going to be where you expected them to be. And it's a little bit different. And like everything's interactive. And they show him like building stuff. And they're like, literally everything you can build things. And then they show him like sliding down this like wire with this log that he like put 2 hooks on. And then like slid. And I'm just like, sold. I just need to see no more.
Yeah, dude.
And then I randomly saw uh so I was scrolling through Instagram and there was like this log and there's I guess like propellers
Yep.
and they put two propellers on this log and it just looks like a dick boat. He's just
Yeah.
driving his dick boat. I'm like,
Travis
dick
Dick Boat.
boat. Dick boat. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna like this game.
Yeah, dude. For sure. You could totally make a dick boat.
Hell yeah.
it's it's so fucking fun, dude. And for me, the adventure part of it, of like literally just going to what you see and however you get there, you just go, you just do it. Like
Yeah.
you can just fucking go anywhere and do anything. And that is like the best fucking part of this game. You can just pretty much climb anything. Uh, it's so
Nice.
cool. And now, yes, the building, dude. I had somebody send me a link to a YouTube video. Just text me it. That's why I say send me a link, because
Sure,
I
sure.
was like, okay, so the text just said, dude, there's skateboarding, and then sent me a YouTube video link, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm gonna click this.
Yeah.
So I click it, and there's these mine carts, like full size mine carts. Like if you jump in them, like if
Oh
you're
yeah.
you jump in them as Link, you've seen this already.
Sure.
Yeah, full size Link. You could walk around inside
Yeah.
this mine cart.
Yeah.
You can take that mine cart and fuse it to a
Yeah.
shield, and now you
Yeah.
have a shield with a tiny little mine cart on it. Well, there's little rails around, and you can actually ride that. It now is a single rail, because minecarts run on two rails, right?
Yeah.
Since it's shrunk down, it now runs on a single rail,
Yeah.
and you can ride it like a skateboard.
Hell yeah.
Isn't that fucking awesome, dude?
I'm sure there's gonna be a whole bunch of shit you can find out like that after a
Right.
while.
Right.
Like you're gonna start doing stuff that like the creators didn't even think about.
Totally.
People are just gonna
That's
find out
totally going to
stuff.
happen.
Yeah. That's nuts.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so I had a funny thing related that video. I had a funny thing happen to me. I was just building mine carts and I'm like, fuck yeah. And I got the fans on them so they can go uphill and shit. Right. So
Yeah.
I was just doing this, in my many hours of play I've already put in over the weekend. And I jumped on and I was just like, cool, throw it on there. I'm going to go up to that, I start flying up this thing pretty quickly because I put two engines on it.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I just fly off. I just take a left, just fucking fly off to the left or to the right. Sorry. I just like the right side of the cart just like starts falling away. And I'm like, what the fuck? And as I'm falling away, the camera hit just right. The rail was broke out. The right hand railing was broke out. So the only way to ride up that now, 3 days later, after I get a text message to a YouTube video, I realize I needed to fuse the car to this. I could only skateboard up that hill or down that hill. It has a broken track, but the other one's intact still. So there's a way to do it, but I didn't know that.
Right.
Like, fucking so cool, man.
Dude, it's a whole new level of like puzzles to solve.
And the weapons.
That track's
Have
broken.
you seen that?
No, I saw that you can like upgrade.
You make them.
There's a dude. Oh, do you? There's a dude that I subscribe to on YouTube because of like all the Pokemon stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
And then he's like doing a bunch of. I have like notifications on because there'll be like Pokemon has like Terror Raid events.
Yep.
And like every weekend there'll be like new stuff. Like right now there's the Paradox Pokemon that like I have the one with Scarlet and then the other one's Violet. And like I'm excited for that because it's like I don't have that Violet one and I have a chance to get it in my game now because I play online. So I set that up. So, every time he puts out a new video, I like to see him dropping the knowledge because I don't know what that Paradox Pokemon is. They're like dual type.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's like a steel and ground type or what the hell it is. It looks almost like Don Fan?
No.
He's like a little elephant.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think the Donphant's the evolved form. Doesn't matter.
I
That
know which one you're
elephant
talking
has
about
a
now.
paradox Pokemon, and there's one that's in the past that's like Great Tusk or something.
Okay.
And it's like a really gnarly looking, like has giant woolly mammoth like tusks, and
Fuck
it
yeah.
looks way gnarlier.
Yeah,
And then
dude.
there's like a futuristic one that looks almost like a metal tire, like where it's all sleek and the back into like the trunk looks like a tread. I've only
Yeah.
seen other people use it, so I've only
Right.
seen like a quick glimpse. I haven't like looked into it online.
Right.
But that one's going to be available for me to use. So I'm just like guessing. I'm like, I don't know, is it steel and ground type? So I don't even know what to go at it with.
Right.
So I was hoping, these videos where they're just like, it's this and that. Here's the Pokemon that should work to beat them with. Because I'm
Yep.
like, I don't want to. The
You
biggest
have an
problem I
opportunity, you
have,
want to fucking get it. And you're so good
not
at like
not
strategizing
only,
going into these
yeah,
fights.
not only having the opportunity, I hate being the guy that fucks it up for everybody else.
Oh, right.
I hate going in just being like, this is the wrong Pokemon. And I keep getting knocked out, and we're
Yeah.
going to lose all our time and we won't catch it.
Right.
Not only will I not catch it, but the other 3 guys in this raid will also walk away empty-handed. I am a
Right.
failure. I have done.
Yeah, like you get super hard on yourself if
Yeah.
you're not like in the mix. Yeah.
Right. But
I
instead
gotcha.
of like, I just skip straight to the front of the line, instead of just being like, what are, because sometimes it fucks with you too, where it's not just, here's your 2 move types. They're like, here's your move pool. Because sometimes they'll have a move that is a move that's not their same typing.
Oh,
So they
fuck.
can still do a move that's super effective against you, even though you
Yeah.
thought they weren't going to have it.
Right.
Like, say you're like a fairy type Pokemon and you're going up against a ghost, and you're like, all right, that's going to work. The ghost isn't super effective against me.
Mhm.
Oh, that ghost knows a poison move. And
Which
that poison's
fucks you
going to
up.
fuck me up. So,
Shit.
damn it. Yeah. That kind of shit. So,
Right.
I just like to
It's just a
know what
strategy
I'm
guide
dealing
sort of
with.
thing, and you can't go
Yeah,
into
pretty
big
much.
ass boss fights like this without a strategy guide. That's
Yeah.
that,
And if
you
it's
can
by
do that in
myself,
Zelda, by the way, not to just
yeah.
like bring it back to Zelda already, but you totally can do that in Zelda because you can just go in now with the weirdest shit and you can just
Oh yeah.
give it a
Dude, when it's
go.
by myself, I don't need to do the strategy stuff. When I'm not letting anybody else down, like I'll just figure it out.
Right.
And in my
That's the
game,
shit too.
I will do those raids by myself, no problem. But the thing is, because
Gotcha.
I have Scarlet,
Yep.
I can only encounter the paradox Pokemon I already have in
Right.
the
Right.
wild. I
Right.
have to do online
You
to be
have to
able
do the
to.
online ones.
So
to
I'm
get
doing it with 3 other real people that I don't want to let down.
right.
That's where that comes in.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
I forgot what the fuck I even brought that up for.
Oh,
I thought there was.
we were just talking about how like these videos on Zelda, you were watching that guy, or like there's a ton of videos out there right now, and you specifically followed that guy. So like, how did he tie into the Zelda video?
Well, so I just see all this stuff where it's just like how to upgrade your shields, how to like upgrade your weapons.
Yeah.
I saw one that was
gotcha.
just like how to duplicate items, where I was like, oh, that
What?
I'm sure has some sort of a thing. I'm sure there's some sort of a thing where like the people have figured out something where it's like, oh, do this and that. He's got like 3 different switches anyways, where he's like, oh yeah, you just open up your second account, do this, transfer items, close, that kind of shit.
Right.
Where and just like, and then when you turn it back on, you have 2.
Right. I got
I don't know. I didn't look into any of that shit, but I've been seeing all the titles of all his videos. So I'm like, oh damn, how to get, and like, cause one of them was like, how to build and repair weapons. And I'm like, oh shit, there's like a whole weapon system. That's dope.
Yeah.
Do you have to repair? Did I read that right?
Yeah. So let's get into that here before we end this topic. That'll be the last thing. So we actually talk more about Zelda.
Sure.
Dude. So you can, like I said, the shield and that cart. Yeah, that was a transportation thing, but that shield is now stronger because that cart's on it. Your shield is a shield.
No
it's a weapon. It uses the same fuse system. And so like you just made a new type of shield. You just made a cart shield. And now you can, you might be able to use it to attack, but it's once you get attacked, it's going to take more damage because the cart will take, it's just a stronger shield now.
Sure.
So you have that you can make different shields. Cool. Then you have weapons. So like you get a big ass stick It's just a stick.
Yeah.
It's just a tree stick, but it's like a 6-foot tree stick. Well, you
Yeah.
fight these robot type things, I'll just call them to keep things
Okay.
simple. You just fight
Sure.
these robot type things, and they'll drop blades. Well, that's
Okay.
an advanced technology they just dropped. So now you fuse this advanced blade technology to this giant stick. You got a fucking huge spear.
Damn, dude.
Dude.
Oh.
It's so
Dude, I
much
love
cool
those
shit
giant
like that.
spears. Like, that's my favorite weapon when you watch like Kung Fu. You ever watch Kung Fu? They
Right.
got that one,
Right.
just like a bow staff with that big floppity cheap. It looks like a cheap blade on the end, but I bet that thing fucks shit up. And then you just like, here's your big stick, and you're putting the new technology on the end of that, like that big bow staff.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I got range for days.
Yeah.
Come at me.
Yeah.
What?
And
Yeah, that sounds so sick,
dude, it's fucking dope. And
can you put a shield on the end of your stick?
I'll try it tomorrow.
Just like a big long,
Probably
like a pusher.
Probably.
Damn, dude.
I'll like I said, I'll try it tomorrow because I'll just pick it up. Because so the other thing is Link is a master archer. Always has been, right?
Yep.
Always a bow.
Yep.
You always see it.
I knew that.
Yeah. So bow and arrow's back. Well, yeah. You fuse shit to your arrow and
Just
watch.
do whatever.
Yeah, dude. I'll just give you one example. I'll give you one example because it's in a trailer. So everybody knew it coming into it. So they're these bat creatures. They're like whatever, a cyclops bat, right?
Yeah.
So you go kill a cyclops bat with your just plain ass stick. And then it drops its eyeball and you pick up its eyeball. And then you pull back your arrow and then you open up your items and you're like, oh yeah, give me that eyeball. Fuses the eyeball to it. You let go because you're trying to shoot this bird out of the sky because you need some meat. Yeah. It's a fucking homing arrow, so it doesn't matter. Just aim in the general direction of that bird. Pow!
So it doesn't need to like necessarily make sense either. That's brilliant. Where it's just like, yeah, screw it. The eyeball will just direct it where to go.
Yeah,
it can arrow see. Now has
that arrow can now see. Yep. Fucking right. The arrow can see.
End of story.
Yep.
How does the eye get hooked up to the arrow? Doesn't matter. Arrow has an eyeball.
Arrow has an eyeball. Arrow can now see. Arrow's homing. Don't ask too many questions.
Dude, I can't wait to play this game with my son too, because I feel like his weird shit that he says is we just go, yep, we're doing that.
Yep.
He'll have funny ideas too.
Totally.
Can we put that robot on the shield and then put an eyeball on that? We'll try it, dude.
I don't know, man. We can try. I do think it's limited to 2 things, like as far as fuse goes, but it doesn't matter, right? Like
we'll still figure it out.
Yeah, there's still so many things to play with and build too. Like, dude, it's so much fun. I'm pretty super excited.
I'm pretty pumped. That sounds so dope. Yeah, and so when you were talking about your physical copy, I am also a physical copy guy.
Yeah.
100%. I just like to have a tangible thing that I can hold.
Yeah.
I don't think the only digital copies of any video game I ever had was like PlayStation Plus, where it's like, here's a free game. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm not going to not take a free game. I'm
right.
So, I want my physical copy.
Yep. Okay. Let's do the like, subscribe. That's all I'm going to say. Hey, go over to YouTube and give us a subscribe. That would be great. The YouTube channel is very steady. We need a little bit of growth. That would be awesome if you could just subscribe. Hopefully that'll kind of keep us bumped up. That'll help bump us up in the algorithm. Share with a friend. And that you just subscribed. Hey, check it out. Just fucking subscribe to these guys. You should give it a go. That's it. I'm gonna leave it there. Look, that's the end of the podcast, guys. Okay, this after talk stuff, me and Tim's we're gonna have production meetings about it. But like, I got other things I got to share with Tim. I'm gonna stop the recording and then we're just gonna go on for a second about Zelda. So if you're not playing Zelda, fucking go get it.